My name's Linda, and I'm the parish administrator at the parish of the Holy Trinity East Ham. And this is,
My name is Joe Walker. I am one of this year's Buxton interns, working at St Martin's Church in Plaistow doing community organising.
and I'm going to ask Joe a few questions. Joe, can you tell me what led you to join Buxton to this particular project?
That's a great question, Linda. I've always been interested in faith and politics and how faith and politics work together, um, and come from a very political family. And in my final few years at university, started exploring how my faith works within the kind of political background I grew up in, and came across the Buxton Programme through one of my supervisors at university who recommended me for it, and just felt like it was a perfect fit as it's a year-long internship that explores how faith and politics works together.
So far, has it met your needs and been everything you wanted it to be?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, it has been. It has definitely met what I wanted it to do and met my expectations. Yeah, it's hard to know when you come in saying exactly how your year's going to look, but so far I've massively enjoyed it. It's been very stretching, very challenging in all the right ways. I've never felt like something's been outside of my control, but I've always felt quite frequently that I've been pushed to rise to the occasion, I suppose. Um, and yeah, it's really interesting looking at how churches work within their local community. And so it's kind of exploring politics with a small p in that way of how churches should be better involved and placed in their community, and trying to build relationships within congregations and seeing where those lead to.
Okay. Have you had any nice surprises or nasty surprises even during the last year?
um, that's a good question. I think a nice surprise is how much I've changed and developed since doing the internship. So I think like how I now express my faith and um, how I think through my faith is something that's always been encouraged and developed through this internship. So that's been really nice. I didn't necessarily expect that I would be in a space that would encourage me to reflect and think deeply about my faith. And I've really enjoyed that. I've been given that space through like retreats and through prayer with the Centre for Theology and Community. That's been really helped. Um, and I think also the fact that very practical. I've been given tools in terms of how to engage with people, how to talk with people, and that's always been something that I believe is really important. Actually, being given the tools to do that effectively, and actually seeing that there is like a practical framework behind beliefs that I have has been really encouraging.
Mm. Any highlights? Any particular highlights?
Um, Highlights been just meeting people, just hearing people's stories and the various backgrounds that different people are coming from. It's just such a privilege to be able to interact and listen to people who have experienced so much, but then have the opportunity to learn from them. In particular, at St Martin's Plaza, we've been doing some work around asylum seekers and refugees, and having the privilege to be able to speak with them and talk with them and learn from them has been a real highlight for me.
That's good. And you found that inspirational, or is there anyone else that you found particularly inspirational?
For sure, apart from you, Linda,
Of
obviously.
course.
But there's one person in particular called Marla, who is a leader at St Martin's Church Plastow, who is just absolutely fantastic. She is an asylum seeker from Nicaragua in Latin America, and she just has this amazing faith, lived faith, that she carries with her, as well as just being a very caring person who has a deep sense of justice and how justice should look. And it's been really exciting to journey with her as she's gone from being someone when I first spoke to her who was quite quiet and didn't really want to rock the boat, I suppose, in some ways, and now is developing a voice and realizing that they can impact and change things, which is just very special to see.
It is. It's good to see someone empowered. How would you, or would you, encourage somebody to take part in this program?
Yeah, definitely would. I would say if you're passionate about your faith, if you're passionate about living out that faith within communities and uh, with the hope of changing things and bringing about a more socially just world as Jesus teaches us in the Gospels, then I would 100% encourage people to apply.
Okay, and there's anything that you, in particular, that you've learned this year that's going to carry you in good stead in the future?
Yes, an experience that I had recently, in fact, where I was working and like just had like a lot of things to do, like logistical things to do that day, and there was someone sitting with me while I was working in the office, and I was kind of almost like getting frustrated because they were speaking to me as I was like trying to um, work on sign up on a deadline. But as the conversation developed, they ended up sharing a very personal story with me, which has really shaped their life and their experience and why they do some of the stuff that they do now. And I think I learned from that to actually just always prioritize people, even when you've actually got a lot of things to do and got a lot of work on your plate. There's something very important, there's something very Christian and very, yeah, just valuable in prioritizing people and giving that time and space. And at the end of that conversation, they told me that I was the only person in England that they told that story to. Um, that's just a very, yeah, a very special thing to happen, you know.
It's good to
So,
remember to listen.
for sure.
Oh, that's lovely. Thank you very much, Joe.
Thanks, Linda.